Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to Crypto Warehouse. Solana is finished. Solana is dead. It is the end of the gravy chain for meme coins. That's what we're being told by every single person on crypto Twitter. And I am here to tell you today that that is absolute horse manure. We're going to go through an awful lot of the fallout from what happened over the weekend. For those of you that don't know, a coin was launched called Libre, which was apparently or allegedly, or however you want to see it, endorsed by the president of Argentina, Milei. He then doubled down yesterday and said, if you go into casino and lose all of your money, would you blame me? We're going to talk about all of this. We're going to talk about the bearish outlook that most people have and why it is based on sand. We're going to talk about the resignation from Meteora. We're going to talk about Pyth, or Pith, should I say. We're going to talk about XRP. We're going to talk about Near Protocol. We haven't mentioned that in a while. And then we're going to finish with a story about Michael Brown. That is what we are going to talk about today. And of course, tonight, we have Quid Game Wolf Swap Edition. Tonight at 7:30, we will be having our second live interactive quiz. And this time, it's about Wolf Swap. Last month, it was about Mew. We did the Mew quiz. This is version 2. Version 1 had a few snags. Mags won, walked away with the bag of Mew. In Quid Game, there is only one winner. We normally give away 5 to 10 prizes on these nights, but for the next couple, it will be one winner, and then eventually we will probably roll that out to 5 winners. But tonight, 7:30, which is about 8.5 hours from now, we will have our Quid Game. Now then, of course, we are not going to knock Solana. Of course, we like Solana. Solana's my favorite chain. I'm not a Solana maxi, though. You've got to bear in mind. If you noticed, the headline of the show is Solana is finished, ... And, in my opinion, Solana has finished dumping. That is the end of that sentence. I'm going to get on to that in a minute. Bitcoin coming in above 96,000. It was 95.8 when I had a quick look before the stream. So 96.1. Ethereum's back over 2,700. XRP still around that $2.50. Solana coming in at $170. Remember what I said. I wasn't here yesterday. Remember what I said on Monday. The reputational risk to Solana hopefully will be short-lived. Long-term, what's happened over the weekend will have no bearing on the price of Solana if the likes of Jupiter, Meteora, and the centralized exchanges come to some kind of agreement and stop the meme culture where politicians mainly now are starting to promote their own coin to make $50 or $100 million. And who are they making that money out of? They're making it out of you, okay? It's not going to help. Gainers then, Berachain is up, Aptos, Sonic, Litecoin is back to 135 plus, Potenza, Maker, Floki all doing well. Mantra retraced slightly and is now carrying on its runaway train. Losers, Virtuals is down. Virtuals ported itself over to Solana last week just before the crash, so that means time to recover. That is now under $1. FTX, remember, it doesn't exist, okay? We talk about magic fairy coins. FTX coin, FTT, is a magic fairy coin. There is no exchange. Do not buy that token, okay? It doesn't have any inherent value. It's worse than holding a meme coin. Lido is down a bit. Move is down a touch. Mantle, Hyperliquid, XDC. A few losers, not really that many to complain about. And again, we are going to start with some X files. Remember, if you're new here, subscribe, follow, whatever magic buttons you've got in front of you. Press them. Help us to get to 200,000. We are less than 4,000 away from hitting that target. Now then, this is a guinea pig bridge. Except it's not. This is all the stupid lemmings out there that keep going and buying these pre-sales and these pump and dumps. That's who they are. They're guinea pigs. And you are like, Lambs to the slaughter. I couldn't put a lamb going to the slaughter on the stream because it'd have been kicked off. But you are on the guinea pig bridge and you're constantly walking into the next hamster wheel, or guinea pig wheel in this case, of pump and dumps. Everything that happens that's big. What did I say to you on Monday? Wait 4 days. Wait 4 days. If you're really impatient, wait 3 days, because eventually it will come crashing to the ground. Okay? Don't be a guinea pig. Don't be a guinea pig. That's the message today. So after this stream, go and look in your bathroom mirror and say to yourself, I am not a guinea pig. I don't buy pump and dumps. Okay? Say it 3 times and Michael Saylor will appear behind you and drizzle you with Satoshis. Institutional adoption of the Bitcoin ETFs tripled in Q4 to 38 billion, and the percentage of the assets claimed by 13F filers up to 25 to 30%. For context, gold is 40%, and where I think these will end up. So again, institutional investment, institutional adoption, whether you like it or not, it's going to pump your bags. Whether you agree in decentralization or centralization, Bitcoin is going to be bought by the big boys. Bitcoin Policy Institute Executive Director, PIDE, we'll call him Pi for short, Donald Trump is paying serious attention to Bitcoin. National leaders are realizing they can't afford to ignore Bitcoin when their competitors are accumulating it. Again, we are going to enter game theory very soon. And when game theory begins, my $150,000 Bitcoin target is going to go out of the window. Here are the top real-world assets, projects by development. Directional indicators represent each project's ranking, rise or fall since last month. We don't really care about that. These are the top, I imagine it's based on GitHub commits. These are the top projects building in the real-world asset sector. Chainlink, big Oracle, should be in your portfolio. If it isn't, I think it's probably going to be about $18 or $19. It's a great buy. Synthetic versions of stocks. Again, solid project. Others on there that I like. Boson Protocol never gets a mention. I'll give them a shout out. And MakerDAO, of course, they're going to go through a rebrand and they're going to launch as a different token in the future. So keep an eye on them. Again, it's not an indication that the price is going to go up. It's an indication that they are building, okay? There is no direct cause and effect with that, but it's good to see which projects. Now then, this is one of 2 tweets which highlight the problem with shillfluencers, okay? Is Sui the future of blockchain? Now, Mario Norfal, don't know the guy personally, but I can guarantee that he is being paid an awful lot of money by Sui to have them on his channel. And this is the crux of the problem that we have with Solana. Solana, in my video that I made at the weekend, I said, Solana, the problem is not Murad or Ansem or Solana or the fact it's decentralized. The problem is greed, and that is on you. Ansem and Murad, who I don't necessarily agree with, by the way, they are not forcing you to click the button to buy those meme coins. They are not making you sell your Solana or your Bitcoin on the centralized exchange you're watching on to go and buy the next big coin. You are doing that, and you are being shillfluenced by them. Not influenced, shillfluenced by them. Now, Hayden Davis is the chap that was behind Libra. He is also one of the people behind Melania. And he did an interview with CoffeeZilla and a few other people. I believe the guy from Barstool, Portnoy had him on as well. And he's going to go to prison. And we're not going to talk about that on here because that's not what the channel is about. But he's going to go to prison. He has manipulated the market, and he has caused not just the Melania pump and dump, but also talked about the fact that there was a party, and lots of people at that party were allowed to buy into Trump at $500 million market cap. And they, of course, were people that may or may not have been at some kind of presidential party I don't know whether that's the case or not, but I'm just letting you know. When you see these things, we of course cover them, but the majority of the time we will tell you to stay away. It's very unlikely we'll come on here and tell you that the next big thing is happening, okay? If it's an airdrop and it's completely free, fine. If it's a way to farm an airdrop, fine. They pass our criteria. If it's a pre-sale of a Pepe Doge bonk, then no, it's not going to be anything other than an absolute dump. And they're just going to take your money off you. Now, they can either do that via the pre-sale, at which point you've lost it before it's even gone live, or they will do it based on a pump and dump, where you will get all of those shillfluencers telling you what an amazing token it is. Remember, they are not selling you alpha, they are selling you their bags. They are not selling alpha, they are selling you their bags. Bear that in mind. They want the price to go up so they can sell at the highest price. They don't care what time or what price you buy in. Now then, this is the economic calendar, which I'm probably going to include once or twice a week now from here, because I always mention it and I never put anything up about it. So today is Wednesday. What do we have today? We have the minutes of the Fed FOMC meeting from January, and we have one of the Fed vice chairs talking. Philip Jefferson is going to speak as well. So 2 p.m. and 5 p.m. we're going to get a little bit of news. I'm not expecting it to do anything. I don't know whether the vote is going to matter on a rate cut or not. I don't know. It's hard to say. I don't have a crystal ball. Tomorrow we have the jobless claims. We have the economic indicators at 10 a.m. Then we have Michael Barr speaking and Adriana Kugler speaking as well. So again, not a massive amount of news coming out, but worth watching. Okay. And if you are within any doubt that Solana is going to survive, maybe you saw my headline and thought that I thought it was finished. Absolutely not. Doge, or dog, should I say. Bitcoin's #1 dog meme coin announces its expansion to Solana. Now, I made another video over the weekend called Memes Are Dead, RIP Memes 2025. If you watch the video, you will clearly hear me say that the 2025 meme narrative is dead. It doesn't mean that some of the meme coins from 2024 and 2023 are dead. Obviously, we've covered Mew on here, we've covered Bonk on here, we've covered Pepe, we've covered Dog with Hat, we've covered Many Brett is another example over on Base. We've covered meme coins, which again, it should be a tiny part of your portfolio, but they are not dead as a narrative or as a niche within crypto. The same way that AI isn't dead within crypto. They have phases of being in the news and phases of being out of the news. And the plan really is to buy them while they're out of the news, not when they're pumping. Now then, another thing you want to repeat after me. Bitcoin has the big D. Okay? Bitcoin has the big D. Bitcoin dominance. It's not stopping. Okay? We are still over 60%. We had a little bit of a retracement, but I redrew this line. I think I redrew this line last night just to kind of trace it all the way back to June 2023, which is about the time that BlackRock started buying its Bitcoin for the ETF. And we've kind of stayed within this channel. Yes, we've come out a little bit at the bottom. Yes, we've come down to this level here, but we're now back over 61%. Now, if you were to pick one indicator that alt season was about to begin, I've said this before, it's if Bitcoin dominance starts to do that. And the issue that we have right now is Bitcoin is about to enter game theory with maybe nation states buying Bitcoin. We have 21 or 22 US states buying Bitcoin or getting to the point of trying to buy Bitcoin. There's nothing that tells me that Bitcoin is going to start to come down dramatically, but alts are going to have a run at some point this year. I do think Bitcoin dominance does need to break down a little bit for that to happen. Maybe it doesn't come all the way down to 40 or 35%, but we shall see. Now then, a few good mornings. I've not said good morning to anyone today. Before we get on to the news, good morning, Velvet Rope. Mr. B is here. KB is here. Kishan is here. Solo Sky, Bullish Bull. Kabir is here. ACH is going to Moon soon. Mike, you have been a Sol Shillfluencer. I certainly have not been a Sol Shillfluencer whatsoever. I only tell you the highest quality merchandise to buy in this crypto market. And most of it involves coins that have been around for more than 1 minute. Again, as I said on Monday, Libra pumped to 4.5 billion and then came all the way down while I was asleep. And I'm not a bear. I didn't sleep for 3 months. It happened in about 8 hours. So again, if you can't wait 2 or 3 days to get into a coin, then you probably need to have a think. Okay, the dollar index, the DXY. There is my line. That's my target, which is 100, pretty much on the nose. Since we topped, we've started to kind of create a channel. And the issue is that we've come down to this level here. What I would expect to see is maybe this kind of action. Again, we're very unlikely to see that. Okay, that's very unlikely to happen. But I do think that the DXY is going to weaken because Trump wants a weaker dollar than what we've got. So I expect us to break below this support band. And again, we've seen it happen time and time again. I'm not going to keep redrawing this, but we do come down. We very rarely find an awful lot of support at the bull market support band. We do tend to break through it. It isn't really anything in particular. It's just a moving average, and we don't tend to bounce off it that much. So I do expect us to come down. But we keep an eye on this because it's again a little bit like Bitcoin dominance. It shouldn't be read as the sole reason for anything. The same way any indicator isn't going to be the panacea, the one thing you need to keep an eye on. There's 20, 30 different things that people look at. And again, we could sit here for 3 hours a day and go through them all, but what's the point in that? So the DXY is starting to bounce off the bull market support band. It's really going to come up a little bit, and then I think it's going to come down. So again, not a lot really to talk about in there, in the charts. It's just something we notice and we keep an eye on. Now we're going to have a quick look at some Bitcoin news before we go into the Solana news. Okay. This is another nothing burger. FTX has started to repay, I believe it's Bitcoin only, started to repay yesterday. And lots of people are saying two things. One, this Bitcoin crash is going to be compounded by the FTX collapse and the FTX repayment, sorry. And number two, I think there's about 1.2 million Solana being unlocked this week or next. Again, we've seen all of these things before. The Solana release, it didn't cause the market to crash last time. And in fact, all the shorts got liquidated on the way up. So I don't expect the Solana release to cause the market to come down. When I say Solana is finished, I think Solana has finished bottoming. And I'm going to show you the Solana chart in a bit. And if you watched the stream on Monday, which I hope you did, then you will know we came down to exactly where I said we would go on the first leg down. We had two legs down, the first one and the second one. I'm going to show you that in a minute. But I don't believe this is another nothing burger for me. 1.2 billion was paid out. Those that had less than $50,000 will all be paid 100% plus 9%. Remember, Sam Bankman-Fried was such a failure. He didn't realize he had more funds in his company than he owed. Everybody was talking about a 1 billion, a 2 billion, a $4 billion black hole. When the sensible people went in there, they found all this money, and yes, the price of Bitcoin has gone up. They found all this money that they had. They had shares in companies that had 20 and 30x. They had cash. The details of where their money was stored was in an Excel spreadsheet. They were so bad at running a business and so busy being high that they had no idea that they were running a profitable business. And it collapsed, yes, of course it did. But they actually ended up with more money than they thought, which is crazy. But anyway, so the claims are going to be sent out. 800 million out of the 1.2 million to be paid, 162,000 out of 460,000 allowed claims, 50% original holders, 50% claim buyers. Those funds have been paid out. Again, the market is jumpy. So when the market is jumpy, everything gets blown out of proportion. So if Brad Pitt is seen walking out of a restaurant eating a hot dog, the headline won't be Brad Pitt eats a hot dog. It'll be, oh my God, Brad Pitt doesn't like pizza anymore. It doesn't make any sense, but that's what people do. That is what people do. Now, again, 96.3. We are up a bit. But where are we? Where are we? We are in the same place, okay? Now think about your mentality. Think about how rich you thought you were here. Think about how bullish you were, okay? You're all going to go and buy Lambos. You're all going to go and buy a villa in the Maldives. You're all going to be stinking rich, okay? Even here, I'm going to be so rich, okay? 3 months later, you're in the same place. You're in the same place. And half of you are miserable. Half of you are crying. No, it's not over. We're at $96,000. If I told you at any point down here, if I said to you when we're at 64,000 in August, don't worry guys, Q1 next year, we're going to be at $96,000. Okay, that's $30,000 higher than we are now. Be happy. Okay, some of you will have believed me. Some of you thought I was conservative, whatever it might be. You'd have bitten my hand off. Okay, and the other thing you would have done at $64,000 or $32,000 is you'd have bought more Bitcoin. And if you don't hold any Bitcoin, it's still not a bad time to buy it. 96,000 is not a bad time. If we come down to 92, it's not a bad time. I know KB said 84,500. I've got about 89,000 now as one of my targets. So even if we come down to 89 or 92,000, what's the problem? Okay, I will worry here. Okay, that's when I'll worry. And then what I believe would happen if we came down here is we would do this. Oops, 1 second. We would do this for a while, and then we will spike back up again. Okay, I don't think the bull run's over. Nothing tells me the bull run is over. Just try and ignore all the FUD, the Solana FUD. And of course, I'm going to put a Solana is finished title as the stream title because I want people to watch the videos. That's the point of those titles, okay? And yes, I would probably put an article that says, OMG, Brad Pitt hates pizza. I am going to be one of those people. The stream tonight must end before Real Madrid Man City. It certainly will. I forgot about it, I didn't read that bit out. We would need to break 92 for 84k. Yep, I totally agree. I think the bottom of the range, which is 92.4, 92.3, as KB said, that has held since November. And we talk about steps. We talk about Bitcoin going up in legs. We talk about Bitcoin going up in steps. And the reason that's a good thing, and it's boring as hell, the reason it's a good thing is because if we come down, we have really solid levels of support. Okay? We've been at 90, we've bounced off 92.4 8 times now. But if we come down and we do break that, then we do have the bull market support band, and that's only $3,000 beneath 89,000. Anything can happen, remember. But the one thing I haven't included in my stream about Bitcoin, because I don't want it to be political, okay? Donald Trump is going to meet with VP. I'm not going to say his name. He's going to meet with VP. And a lot of people have said it's going to happen in Saudi Arabia. And a lot of people have said it's going to happen this month. Now, we're on the 19th of February. So that gives us 9 days for this meeting to happen. Now, again, I'm not going to go off on a political rant about this, but the end of conflict is positive for the markets. It's negative if you hold Lockheed Martin stock or anything like that. Again, I'm not going to go off on that angle. But it's positive for the markets because they want certainty. Yeah. We haven't had the strategic Bitcoin reserve announced. We haven't had interest rate cuts announced. We haven't had any of the states or the other countries talk about their strategic reserves yet. That hasn't been announced. Okay. So there's lots of pending news. Some of it I think is going to bring the market down, but the majority of it should bring it up. And I was talking to KB today, well, last night about it. And I said, I think we should be at a higher position in the market, price-wise, to allow for any retracements. That's where I think we should be, towards the top of that channel we've looked at, which is 102. Because what I can see happening is we're going to get some bullish news come out, and we're going to go to 98,500, 98.8, and we're going to sit there for another week. And you are all going to be bored of listening to me making word plays. If you want to see I've not even read out the title of the stream today. You are Sol. Okay? I'm not going to repeat it. Say it back in your head. Meteora faces insider trading allegations as CEO Ben Chow resigns. Now, this is what all the drama is about. I said on Monday, reputational risk to Solana. Very simply put, Solana is applying for an ETF. Solana wants an institutional investment. Solana wants to be the next ETF approved, even though it's likely to be Litecoin. Solana is a big dog. What Solana doesn't want right now is fleas, okay? It's a big dog with fleas. You don't let the big dog with fleas on your carpet or your rug or your sofa. You keep the big dog with fleas either in a cage or outside, okay? And that's not what Solana wants. Solana wants to come in, sit in front of the fire, roll up on the rug and go to sleep. And idiots like this, short-term idiots, we'll call them, they cause problems. Short-term problems, okay? Solana is finished bottoming because I think all of the news has come out. Remember, it's like Interstellar. 1 week in crypto is like 1 year in the real world, okay? This all happened on Saturday. It's now Wednesday. We're 5 days into a week, and already we are getting the CoffeeZilla interviews. We're getting the Jupiter announcements. We're getting all of these things coming out. Okay. Portnoy launched his own crap coin and started making money and giving it back or whatever. But the crux of it is there are a couple of bad players in every market, in every industry, and they are the ones that get weeded out. And Ben Chow, okay, he's an idiot, but I don't think he's a criminal. Let's make that very clear. That other chap I told you about at the start of the show, he's the criminal. He's going to go to prison. Ben Chow is naive, and that is an issue. And I'm going to sound really ageist when I say this now, okay? If you give young people early 20s to mid 20s, if you give them a load of money and a load of power, and then you don't help them understand what they have control of, they will make stupid mistakes. And if you had an old person in that room, we would not have had Libra or Trump or Melania live. I can guarantee that now, because the old cynical so-and-so would have said, this is a pump and dump scam. 80% of the coins are being held back. They're going to release 20%. It's going to get sniped. Everyone's going to get dumped on. But they've done it time and time again. And now they've been caught with a massive scandal, because before it was B-list celebrities. Now we're talking about the leaders of nation states. Trump, his wife, the leader of Argentina, he didn't endorse it, but he retweeted it. Okay, this is a problem and it needs to be fixed. And I've told you what I would do to fix it on Monday. I'm not going to go over that again. KB gets the title. Okay. Good morning. Don't worry, Rodney. This time next year we'll be millionaires. Exactly. This time next year we will be millionaires. Either that or I'll be sitting here talking about Bitcoin at 92,000. So, he's an idiot. He's not a criminal. He's naive. Who else have I talked about being naive? Vitalik. It's unfair to label all of these young kids, which is what they are to me. It's unfair to label them as being criminals. They are naive and they don't understand the repercussions of what they have. You know, a year and a half ago, Jupiter didn't even have a coin. And now we're talking about a $1 billion project. Meteora didn't really exist in any way, shape or form. I think I covered it maybe a year and a bit ago. It's now a $400 million project, okay? You've got kids in charge. The kids don't have the structure around them. They don't have a sounding board. What they have is what's called groupthink. And groupthink is where you all agree to the point where you just, even if it's a crazy idea, you all agree in that idea. And that was a problem, and is a problem for the Democrats in America. And it was also one of the reasons that Pearl Harbor happened, okay? Because they all believed it wouldn't, okay? Now, there is other ways to get around this. I think it's called the 11th man or the 13th man, and that's somebody that will sit in your group and completely disagree with everything you say, play devil's advocate. And every company needs a 13th or a 7th or an 11th man, the odd man out it's called. They need that person to argue the toss, and they don't have it. They are all sitting there going, right, if we launch this coin, we're going to make 100 million in trading fees. It's immoral, and you're also going to be in big trouble with the SEC. Okay, so he's resigned over Libra. He stepped down, according to Meow. Meow was, of course, the CEO of Jupiter. Jupiter loved the exchange, loved the product, loved everything about what they've built. But again, they are also responsible for this because they're the biggest DEX. They're the biggest aggregator. They're to blame. You have to do due diligence. They didn't do it. I don't care what they say. Meteora is more to blame. Jupiter is to blame. Every DEX on Solana has to take responsibility for what they're allowing people to do. Okay? So Meteora, its TVL dropped to 1 billion down from 1.52. Of course, people are going to be pulling the funds out. Juke token came down, falling 15%, market cap of 1.7. The controversy stems from Libra's team's dealings with Meteora to launch the token, sparking concerns over Chow's alleged ties to the project. He denies the wrongdoing. Okay, he nor Meteora received or managed any tokens on the side. He emphasized that Meteora operates with strict confidentiality and does not engage in off-chain dealings. Now, okay, wordplay gets you caught more than it protects you. Just because you didn't manage or receive any tokens on the side doesn't mean that you didn't know this was going to happen. And you did know it was going to happen. You had people in your team that knew for 2 or 3 weeks it was going to happen. And how do we know this? Because Dave Portnoy knew it was going to happen 2 or 3 weeks ago. And if he knows, sure as hell you know about it. And Jupiter. And you can say, oh yeah, there was some rumor that this happened. Ben Cho referred people to the CoffeeZilla guy. Let me get his name. This one. Okay. So let's just take away their vanilla reply. Okay. This guy, when it loads, that is. Hayden Davis. Hayden Davis received leads from people within the Solana community. So Hayden Davis built Libra, and he was getting leads from other teams, and he admits it here. They provide technical support to teams to ensure proper setup, as misconfigurations can severely impact a launch. Do you know what else can severely impact a launch? Allowing this to happen and allowing people to be robbed of millions and tens of millions and hundreds of millions of dollars. Okay? Lack of judgment is no defense in a court of law. Okay? And it's easy to say, I believe him when he says there was no financial inappropriateness in dealing with partners. I totally agree with that. But Meteora still made an awful lot of money out of those transactions. They still made a lot of money out of the trading fees. I don't see Jupiter or Meteora giving back the trading fees on that launch to a fund to help repay the victims. I've seen CZ donate 150 BNB to the cause. I've not seen anything come out about this. Okay? So, it's all well and good talking about the, we didn't get any tokens. We didn't do this. We didn't do that. You still sold it. You still sold it on your platform. You still made money from it. It's ill-gotten gains. Now then, this is the last article about it. We're not really going to cover this. What time is it? 11:35. We're going to move on to the chart, I think. I don't want to go on too much about it. I, long term, am still incredibly bullish on Solana. And anybody that tells you that Solana is finished doesn't know what they're talking about. It's still the retail chain of choice. There's going to be another coin, and it's going to come out in the next 2 weeks that's going to pump. And everybody, like the guinea pigs, is going to get back on the guinea pig bridge. Let's call it the guinea bridge. It's easy to say. They're going to get back on it, and they're going to end up with those tokens. And that could be Dude, for example, from Dudes or whatever it's called. That could be that. So it's not the end of the world. Everybody, if you're in the middle of a storm, you are indeed, Kabir, you are the 13th man, okay? And if you want to know where I heard about the 13th man from, it was actually apart from hearing about it at university, it was actually in World War Z. World War Z, he talked about the fact that he was the 13th man, and anyway, beside the point. Yes, Solana's not finished. Now, I drew this chart with you guys on Monday, and I drew 2 lines of support. 162, let's call it 162, and we came down to about 160, 150, okay? Sue me for 50 cents, okay? I might give it away on the stream tonight. As a token of my apology for getting it wrong, I will give somebody 50 cents of Solana on the stream tonight, okay? Somebody remind me of that in chat, 50 cents. Maybe I'll give it to Kabir. Maybe I'll give it to Kabir to keep him quiet. Who knows? Right then. The other problem is I have drawn this green arrow, and that takes us down to about 122. Why have I drawn that line? Because this is fallout number 1. Now, fallout number 1 might go without passing, and then what we will do is come back up to the bull market support band, which is about $200, okay? That's if the fallout that we've had just blows away in the breeze, okay? If there is an SEC investigation into Solana and Jupiter and Meteora, mark my words, the price will tank. Now, again, short-term bad, long-term doesn't matter, okay? Because Solana is not the problem. Decentralization, not the problem. Dave Portnoy, not the problem, okay? They're all individuals that can be fined, sent to prison, whatever, okay? The problem is greed, okay? And that is the reason that we tank, okay? It doesn't matter how you shape it. Greed is the reason that we are seeing Libra, Trump, Melania, you name the next one to come up. It will be greed. Because who gets the price to $4.5 billion? The people that don't do any research, don't look for a roadmap, don't look for a white paper, don't look at the tokenomics, and they just degen in with 10K, 100K, 200K, whatever it might be. They DJ in and they see this price absolutely rocket. They're going to be millionaires. And 2 days later, their $100,000 is worth $1,000. Greed is the problem. And who has the greed? You do. Now, if you say to me, Mike, I don't care. I'm going to go and buy $5 of every single one of these coins because one of them might come off. Happy for you. That's not the issue. The issue is people that have a $10,000 portfolio and put $5,000 into Libra, or put $5,000 into Trump, or $5,000 into Melania. That's the problem. Now, years ago, you used to watch TV shows when you were a kid, and in the UK, you'd always see the husband And instead of going straight home, he'd go to the pub, have a few pints, then he'd go to the what they call them, the betting shop, and he'd put the week's wages on a horse, and then the horse would lose, and he'd go home and the wife would hit him with a pan. Very old type of show. That's what this is. Because what's going to happen is, a month later, when he's forgotten about the bruise on his head, he's going to go back to the betting shop and bet on the next horse, and that's not going to come in, and he's going to go home and get hit with the pan. It's insanity. It's insanity putting your portfolio at risk to buy stupid coins. $5, $10, $20 here or there. If you've got $1 million portfolio and you want to put $1,000 into every one of these meme coins that comes out, go ahead, because long term it's not going to damage you. Okay? It's the problem where people have got $100 to invest in crypto, and instead of buying Bitcoin or Ethereum or Solana or Chainlink or any serious project, they're just putting it on the next meme coin. It's gambling. It's just plain and simple gambling. And it's a terrible... The house has 99 of the 100 slots on the table. 99 out of 100 of these coins go to zero. And you still go after the meme coins. So if the SEC comes after us, we're going to 120. If we don't have that, we're certainly going to bounce back to that level there that we were at, which is probably about somewhere near there, which is about $200. Anyway, that's where I think we're going to go to. That's enough of my ranting about Solana. What frustrates me is, you've heard the expression, this is why we can't have nice things. Okay, you've heard that expression before, because greed ruins things, and that's what annoys me. And yes, it's boring, and yes, I'm boring, and I don't care. Okay, what I care about is you getting to the end of this bull run without getting ripped off. And sue me for caring, but I do, because your money is as important to me as my money. And if I don't make it, and you don't make it, and we've all got it wrong, then we're all in the same boat. But I'm not going to be the person in the boat taking $1,000, $500, $250 bribes to tweet about a coin or make a video about a coin just so I can make $250 and then watch you lose $500. It doesn't make any sense. We're just making these people more money. Their protocol introduces proof of response to enhance blockchain liveness. Never heard of proof of response. I think we might have covered it once. Proof of response is a mechanism developed by Near AI to guarantee the availability and efficiency of services in decentralized networks. POR allows users to verify the availability of services, sanctioning providers who do not respond within established parameters. The Near protocol aims to optimize the operation of interconnected AI agent networks, ensuring their availability and security for tasks such as travel management or shopping. The concept is developed by the founders of Near AI and is basically to improve the usability and efficiency of service in decentralized networks. There we go, proof of response. Basically make sure everything is up and running and tickety-boo. So interactive between nodes can't be affected by instability or lack of response from some participants. Again, so it's a good thing. It's just making sure everybody's working. And that's how it should be. So proof of response, fantastic. And again, I imagine there's going to be a monetary value associated with proof of response. So if you get pinged, you respond in a certain amount of time, you will get some Near tokens. So again, Near protocol has a special focus on creating interconnected AI agent networks that can guarantee not only availability, but also information security. We don't need to read too much about this. You know my thoughts on AI. The big boys, if you like, are certainly the Nears, the Renders, and the FETs. They're the big boys. But then you also know that I've mentioned Virtuals, AIXBT, and AI16Z. They're the three that I hold, and I hold a tiny amount of them. Okay? I don't hold more than $100 in each of those. I've got bigger pots in Near and bigger pots in FET. Near, again, the narrative is down on AI. So AI is taking an absolute shoeing. We can follow this back to March last year when the AI narrative was at its peak. We had all of the videos of the NVIDIA product manager talking to an AI NPC that was in a game. He was talking to it, he was interacting, and it's real-time games. Now, I'm very, very bullish on all that kind of stuff. I think it's amazing. You're going to end up in a scenario where you're going to be in your own version of Blade Runner, where you'll be able to sit down and say, I want to go and play, I don't know, Grand Theft Auto, but set it in 2350 in the future, where everyone's got hover cars, okay? And the AI will generate you a game, and you'll be able to go in and you'll say, right, I want to find a gangster, I want to find a woman, I want to find the stash of stolen goods. And the AI game will make all the characters in the game. That's where we're going to go at some point in the near future. For now, AI is probably going to be introduced into games. It wouldn't surprise me if the next Grand Theft Auto had AI in it. It also wouldn't surprise me if Star Atlas had generative AI in it as well. That's the biggest Web3 game. So it's coming, but it's not here. And I've said this again about gaming tokens. They are too soon. But I think AI could shine. Now, Near Protocol is one announcement away from getting back to 650, 750, okay? The narrative is down on all of AI because of DeepSeek, but it doesn't make these projects bad overnight, because the entire market niche sells off, but it doesn't make them bad projects. Now, if Near goes between now and the end of the year without any bullish news, it's going to struggle to go massively higher than it is, okay? Yes, I was buying it at $4 and $5. Yes, it's at $3.15. Everything else is down, okay? The point of the matter is, it's not the end of the bull run, and it's certainly not the start of alt season yet. But AI and Near are something that you should keep an eye on. And if you're holding Near, I'm still bullish on it, even though we are back to where we were January last year. We've come all the way back down. So has everything else. If I was going to pick a winner from the AI field, it would be FET and Near. FET's gone very quiet because they're working on a new distributed AI node model, as far as it was last time I read. So FET is still on my books, Near is still on my books. And until something changes, I'm certainly not going to give up on them. And they've got too many close ties to too many big companies for it to fail, in my humble opinion. Now then, let us move on. 11:47. Let's see what we've got. 3 articles to get through. Earnings. Earnings for Nvidia are next week may help bring up AI. I think so. I mean, what I don't like one thing dominating a market. There's the Kylie Minogue syndrome, we'll call it. Kylie Minogue was a nobody, and she got a record label in London, and she became an overnight success, massive overnight success. After a show, she came out, she became one of the world's biggest performers. The company, I don't know if it was Stock Aitken and Waterland, I don't know what they were called. The company, at 1.97% of their business was Kylie Minogue, because she was so huge. And then one day she left, and 97% of that company's business left with her. And it ruined the company, bankrupted the company. A very profitable record label before Kylie Minogue arrived took over so much of their bandwidth, so much of their staff, so much of what they did, that when it left, it ruined the company. And that's a problem when you have one big client in anything. And if you've got Nvidia as such a big client, if that client crashes, it's going to take everything with it, okay? And that goes for anything, you know, if that goes for crypto. If Bitcoin goes to $30,000 tomorrow, your alts are going to go down 99%. Bitcoin is 60% of the market. Bitcoin goes, everything goes. So I'm very wary. I don't like an overly dominant position held by anybody. You know, you could look at Messi or Ronaldo in a football team. They leave, the team struggles for a very long time, okay? Or they leave a void that can't be filled because you can't replace Kylie Minogue, you can't replace Ronaldo, you can't replace Messi. It leaves a void, and it takes a while to get that back. Near Protocol sorry, not Near Protocol, NVIDIA, if their earnings come in bad, it's going to tank. It's going to absolutely tank everything. But like you say, if it comes in positive, it's going to give everything a boost. AI will be back on the menu. The SEC acknowledges yet another XRP ETF filing. Again, there's a lot of ETF news coming out about Solana, about XRP, about Litecoin, and about others. And we're going to talk about Pith in a minute. There is a big delay between an application and a launch. I can't remember if it was 240 days. 240 days is 8 months. 8 months from today is October. If I think the bull run is going to run till November, then it would be pretty good timing, I would say. So the regulatory agency acknowledged the XRP ETF filings that were submitted by Grayscale and 21 Shares. This was interpreted as a significant message, given that the SEC has been engaged in a relentless legal fight with Ripple. Even though these acknowledgements did not necessarily mean there's an XRP ETF will be approved, they bode very well. Of course it does, okay? Because if you apply for, they applied for a Doge coin ETF, and SEC phoned them up and basically said, what are you doing? And then they went away. I think, it might have been a Trump ETF. It was a Trump ETF they applied for, and then they told them to go away. So even though the SEC is now under pro-crypto governance, it's still not going to approve absolutely everything. But you should certainly see the ones we talked about, the Solanas, the XRPs, the Litecoins. They're certainly going to get an approval at some point in the future. So 80% odds now on it being approved in 2025. Now everyone is happy. Boo. Jason Calcanis recently predicted that the approval of a spot XRP would lead to chaos, arguing that the token is a centralized security. Now, again, I totally agree. Some things you have to let slip, okay? I did not like XRP from the day it went live to the beginning of 2023. That's when I started to like XRP, because I realized there was no alternative. You can't have a decentralized banking protocol plugged into every bank in the world, okay? And if we want an on and off ramp for Web3 that involves all the banks, you need a centralized system, and you're going to need an XRP to exist. Chainlink is still an entity. It just has a coin. XRP is still an entity. It still has a coin. There are centralized agencies out there that have to exist. Who would a bank talk to run the banking system on Bitcoin? Isn't anybody? Okay. It wouldn't happen. You'd have to have a layer 2 built by a centralized organization. So although Bitcoin is the blockchain, Ethereum is the blockchain, you still need somebody to talk to and say, we want to put our bank payments through Ethereum. They'd still have to go to the Ethereum Foundation, or they'd still need to build a layer 2. So there is always going to be somebody to talk to in some of these chains. And once you understand that, then you realize that we need to have XRP or an iteration of XRP. It doesn't have to be XRP. It has to be somebody. Is it a security? I think it's a security. I don't want it to be a security, obviously, but it is a security. It's so entrenched. I mean, maybe in the future when it goes live and people use XRP to trade, then yes, it's a utility token. I get that. But at this moment in time, it is a security, and then it will become a utility. So Grayscale has launched a Pith investment fund. I got told off for one of my videos for calling it Pies. But that's because of where I come from. We've got a football club to the north of where I come from called Blythe, BL, Blythe Spartans. So Pythe is natural to me, but apparently it's Pith, okay? Pith is P-I-T-H where I come from, okay? The fund claims to offer a higher beta exposure to the growth of the Solana ecosystem as Grayscale continues to expand its suite of single asset crypto funds. I'm not sure that a Pith trust is really something that I would launch. I don't think the market cap is there. I don't see it growing to the tens of billions. It's a good coin. It's going to do a really good return. I've got some Pith. I bought it to show you how the staking worked. Again, Grayscale, What's a good indication to me is that Grayscale have highlighted Pith as a trust token. That's the takeaway from this. Obviously, I wouldn't buy into it. I'd buy it directly. It's on all the exchanges. It's on the exchange you're on right now. Pith is the governance token, but you can stake it. You can earn, I think it's 7 or 8% return. It's an oracle. It provides market data across not just Solana, but other ecosystems. 90 different blockchains. There we go. It's nowhere near the size of Chainlink. If you're going to buy one oracle to hold, it would be Chainlink. If you want to buy one oracle for potential growth of the coin, so for example, I don't think Chainlink is going to go higher than $100. That's a 5x from here. Pith has a way lower market cap. It's at 20 cents. It could go 150, 140, $2, and that would be a 7, 8, 10x. So again, the token value and the project should be seen as maybe two different things, especially in gaming. There's some great games out there. I wouldn't touch the tokens of the barge pole. If you're looking for return, Pith would be your best bet, but Chainlink is the better long-term option. By providing accurate and real-time data feeds, Pith provides a key role in the Solana ecosystem. We know about this. So again, it's got a market cap of $750 million. It could easily go to 5, 6 billion easily. It's growing all the time. But again, it's never going to stay at that price. That's the problem that some people have, is you've got to understand that the stuff that goes up 10x will come down 9x. You look at the last bull run, we saw Cardano hit $3 and then it came back to 25 cents. In the previous bull run, it went all the way up and came down to 8 cents, 9 cents. So the bull runs are short-lived. The bull run is not, we go to $150,000 Bitcoin and then it stays there for 3 years and then goes to $250,000. Maybe we go to 150,000, but I think we're going to come back down. I think unless something dramatic happens, which is likely, of course, with the reserves, we could come down to $70,000 Bitcoin next bear market. But maybe we don't get that again. You know, people always say this time it's different. This time it's different. You know what? I said it last time. I say it again. Maybe this time is different, but we won't know until it becomes different. Until then, we stick to the rules and we play by the games. Now, that gentleman there, I think they've stretched his head to make it look like a coin, because there's surely nobody's head looks like that. The man who lost 36 billion in Bitcoin, curious case of Michael Brown. So, the coin was less than 1 cent per Bitcoin in 2010. About a year after it launched, Michael Brown, known as Knight MB, was one of Bitcoin's early adopters. This name has been rather popular amongst the true crypto OGs. Let's take a deeper look. We don't need to read that. So he bought 370,000 Bitcoin for 1 cent each. Then he blackmailed a US senator. The insane story of Michael Brown, the man who lost 36 billion worth of Bitcoin, a thread. 36 billion. Brown was one of the earliest adopters. He occurred in a forum chat room. Very, very good. Okay. They were mining blocks of 50 Bitcoin. I mined Bitcoin. I don't think I've ever told you anybody this. I mined Bitcoin on a laptop, and it was ticking up, I don't know, 0.01 at a time. And it was taking forever. And it was, what I mean forever, it was giving me 0.01 every 10 minutes. Okay. And I'm thinking, I haven't got a very fast laptop. And I decided that after I'd got to, I don't know what it wasn't a lot, maybe 1.1 Bitcoin, turned it off, uninstalled it, threw away the laptop. Okay? Nobody can see the future. I don't know what it was worth at the time I was mining it. Probably peanuts. Probably back in 2016, 2015, maybe before then. No, would have been more before then. I don't know. It was a very long time ago. And I threw the laptop away, but it didn't have a lot on it. But at the time, you could literally sit there and you could mine using a pool. And that pool would pay you. Okay? So you mined as part of a shared pool. Anyway, irrespective of that. He would have been or he was the 7th richest person in Bitcoin with 300,000 Bitcoin. When he owned it, Satoshi had 980,000. I could easily verify, since I know what PC he was using, what part of the world he was living before he started to actually try to be anonymous on the net. Brown hit the jackpot when his employer lost interest in the Bitcoin project. With the bank server's aid, he mined 370,000 before the bank lost interest. He got 371 Bitcoin for $5,000. Amazing. Historian notes that Brown soon disappeared from the public space, many wondering what happened to him. In 2012, he was arrested. He stole Mitt Romney's tax returns and demanded 1 million ransom paid in Bitcoin. Romney was a US presidential candidate at the time. He got his sentence. It left him poor. Where has his money gone? We do not know. But anyway, the interesting fact there was I wanted to tell you, this man gambled 37 billion away to try and blackmail somebody. So let that be a lesson to you today. Don't try and blackmail anybody, okay? Because you're going to end up in prison, especially if that person is Mitt Romney, okay? Anyway, I think if I close this down, I go to this. There we go. So, last thing before we go, it's 12:01. I do try and cram everything in. Give me 1 second. I'm just going to try and fix the frame rate. There we go. Okay. I do try and cram everything in before the end of the stream. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Remember, this is tonight. This is the big one. We have masks. We actually have Quid Game energy drinks for the show. And we are going to run a quiz at the end of the show. Tonight, we're going to talk about Wolf Swap, okay? And that's not the whole show. That'll be about 45 minutes of the show. Then we're going to do an interactive quiz. Now, this is the exciting thing. We've never seen it done before. We are world's first at doing this. The world's first interactive crypto quiz. We're going to ask you questions about this show tonight at 7:30 Central European Time, 7.5 hours from now. We will be starting this. We're going to go through what Wolf Swap is, who they are, what they do. It's going to be an educational episode. We're then going to do the quiz, ask you questions about this project. All you have to do is join by typing join in chat and then pressing number 1, 2, or 3 to answer the questions. We will have a leaderboard. And on that leaderboard, if you win, you walk away with the prize. We will announce all of that tonight on the stream. So that's tonight at 7:30. And Tariq is excited by my 50 cents giveaway. Kabir, I will give you 50 cents of Sol after the stream. If you send me your Solana wallet address, I'll send you 50 cents. Anyway, enough of that. Thank you for watching. I will see you in 7.5 hours' time. Thank you, everybody. Remember to like and subscribe to the channel. We are 3,500 people away from 200,000. Thank you, KB, Eugene, Tariq, Kabir. Cyberpunk Danny is here. Kabir is here. Mr. B was here. Mr. B's really gone. Anyway, take care.